I don't know if I should pull it up. Let me see. Wait a minute. Hi guys, welcome to the live. If you're new here, my name is Catherine. Welcome to the live. So today, I know everything. Most of the time, we talk about other topic, but I think it'll be a great idea for us to discuss. I do understand everything that happened in our past relationship wasn't always bad, and I hope it wasn't always bad. So I want for us to uh, think about or acknowledge what one thing can you say about your past relationship that you can take on to the next one, that you have taken on to the next relationship, or what one thing you can actually say good about your past partner. Comment down below. Okay, so yeah, that's what I think we should talk about today. But yeah, if you have other option, let me know. But I think it's a good idea for the thing talk about that. I would say though, I do understand uh everything that happened in my past relationship wasn't always bad. But if I was to take one or two things from that relationship that was good, I would say not to be, I don't know, how should I rephrase this? Not to be naive, right? I'm sure some people out there, they are pretty cool. They want everything to be perfect. They want to make sure because it's just part of them. They don't like too much drama. They just want to treat everybody the way in which they want to be treated, right? But some people take advantage of that by they being a good partner. Sometimes I think sometimes your partner may take advantage of the situation that you are a nice person, you don't ask for much. um so sometimes they'll feel like, yeah, I would take advantage of that, but not forgetting that, yeah, this person is a nice person. Let me treat this person right. So, yeah, I would say definitely, learning to appreciate your partner more. Um, if they are good to you, show appreciation. And also remember, always remember, no matter how good a person is, and if you treat them wrong at some point of that relationship, you might be thinking that, oh, this person is never going to change. They're never going to leave by my side. But people do get tired. Sometimes they just might walk away. And yeah, you might find somebody, but there are some people that you cannot replace. Um, you'll find somebody, but it would just be that type of person that you had before. Um, I don't understand anything. Uh, what you mean? Hold on, let me see if the volume is good. What don't you not understand? Oh, yeah, okay, the volume is good. What I'm asking, the question today is, let me just break it down. If you been in a relationship before, not everything in that relationship was always bad, right? If you can say one thing, one good thing about your partner, or something that you actually did appreciate in your past relationship, what would it be? Comment down below. Yeah, that's the question for today. Hi, Todson. Welcome. Yeah, what will it be? Yeah, I would say just know that no matter how good you are, how good your partner treats you, and they are being gentle with you to make sure that you're okay, don't take advantage of that. Appreciate them. Because if you ever think in your mind that this person, even though the person might love you unconditionally, they might care for you unconditionally, but if you continue to treat them wrong when they leave, some people don't just return back. And you cannot replace them. So just know that people do change. So but if I was to take one thing from my past, really, oh, I would say I got three stuff to say, but I love to hear your input as well. The first thing will be yeah, I am a nice person. I used to be a nice person. I'm still a nice person, but I would say one thing that I learned from my past relationship, you can't always try to fix everything. You're gonna get burned out. So sometimes you gotta let. It's not a bad thing to help your partner. Um, if you guys are in a partnership, yeah, you guys should be there for each other. But I learned you can't always try to fix everything because you're gonna get burned out. So sometimes you gotta let the other person figure it out. And also, you cannot always save people, right? They have to be actually willing. They'll say we all have something in our life to fix that we need to fix that we need to work on. But you cannot fix somebody if that person is not willing to fix anything. If that person don't see anything about them that is wrong that they need to fix. So yeah, that would be one thing I would say. Not always be quick to jump and trying to fix everything. Sometimes you gotta let your partner figure it out. And also one thing that I would say, one thing I learned in my past relationship, I would say, um, always be a good person, no matter what, right? But also be willing to walk away when the point you know that, oh, this relationship is not going to work, or you feel like, yeah, I thought this relationship would work. The moment you realize that, I don't think this is my person, I don't think this is just going to work, the sooner you know that, walk away. Because the longer you stay in that relationship, just hoping that things going to get better, you feel like the other person going to change, you're going to waste a lot of your time. And I can say for sure, you cannot replace your time that you have lost. So the sooner you leave, I know it's hard to just walk away from things that you do care about, that you love, that you want for it to work. But the sooner you walk away, when you know, the moment you realize that, oh, I don't think this is going to work. This person and I, we are not going to work out. The moment you realize that, you have to take your power to walk away, because like I said, going from the first thing I said, you cannot always fix everything. The other person have to be willing to work on whatever they need to work on for it to work. It takes two to make a relationship work. So uh, no matter how hard you go 100% in a relationship, and the other person is putting 20% or 25%, and you're going 100 or 75, it's not going to work out. You're just going to get burned out. You're going to get frustrated. So the sooner you walk away, the better it is. So that's number two. Hi guys, welcome. What's the content? The question today is uh the question for today is, your past relationship, right? Looking at your past relationship, what what one good thing you took from that relationship, or what one good thing can you say about your past relationship or your past partner in that relationship? What good one good thing can you say about that person? Comment down below. Because I'm sure everything wasn't always bad, right? So I just want us to take this time to acknowledge, one good thing that we took from our relationship, one good thing that we learned from our relationship that we're able to take to our current relationship, or that we are going to take to our current relationship, um, or our next relationship. Coming down below. I would say though, what else? Okay, for us the ladies, I'm not speaking for all the ladies, but I would say some ladies, right? They have that motherly heart. Um, they want to make sure. I know it should be like that, but we want to make sure our partner is good all the time. But I think sometimes too, you cannot take your partner. Uh, I wouldn't say like your kid, but I would say they are adults. So you can't treat them like you are the mom, right? If I don't know if that makes sense to you guys. You cannot take your partner like you are their mom or you are their dad. Yeah, we here to make this thing called relationship work. As long you guys love each other unconditionally, you guys are loyal to each other. That's what we're hoping for, right? That you guys, understand each other despite everything is not always going to be perfect. You guys going to go through ups and downs. Anybody that been in a long-term relationship, they will tell you that they go through different stages of that relationship. Maybe the first year might be good, then the second year you guys going to start to have problems. But if you guys are able to fix that issue though, things going to get better. Then at some point it going to start to fall apart. But if that person is your person, you two are willing to work on that relationship, you guys want to be together, right? Everybody there for the good reason or the right reason. You guys are willing to work on it. If you guys do pass that other stage and everything is good, the longer you guys stay together, you'll start to adjust to each other. But like I said, everything is not always going to be perfect. Anybody that been in a long-term relationship, they're going to tell you that in order for that relationship to work, you guys, somebody have to compromise something. I can tell you from my experience, you have to. It could be either the guy or the lady. Somebody have to compromise something in order for that relationship to continue to go on for a longer period of time. So yeah, that's just my point of view. I want to know what you guys think. What one thing that you learn from your relationship, or that you take from your relationship, or what one good thing can you say about your partner? Comment down below. Um, Also, I would say, um, especially when you and the person are first getting together, those say you haven't been together for a long period of time, I think is very important. I'm not saying hard anything from your partner, but it's very important that you keep certain things private that have happened in your previous relationship or um, in your past. I think it's very important for you to keep some stuff private until you know that this person is there for the right reason. Because if you just like overshare everything about yourself, sometimes your partner will use that against you. Sometimes. So I personally, that's one thing I can say. Just learning to, for me, I'm the type of person I love for my partner to be very earnest with me, even if I don't agree with whatever might be going on. I like for them to just pour everything out, for them to tell me everything. Then it's my job to accept it or not to accept it and stuff like that. But I don't like people to lie to me. So I would say um it's not always a bad thing to keep some stuff private until you know that's your person. That's just my point of view. Comment down below what you guys think. I would say though, yeah, if my partner was to ask me and stuff like that, I would say, depending on how long we've been together, because I'm going to continue to observe a person, make sure that, okay, this person is not just here for fun. This person actually do care about me. They want to be with me. Yeah, based on that, I might share everything. But knowing what I know now, there are some things that I will keep private until I feel comfortable with sharing that. Um, with that said, I would say though, um, there are certain information is very important that you tell your partner. That could be health issues or why eh, some people been in so many relationships. For me personally, I haven't been in so many relationships, so for sure I know of myself that I'm good. But some people, they just move from one partner to another, so um they don't test themselves, right? Or they don't go to the doctor to make sure they're good before moving to the next person. So I would say though, in order to protect yourself, before you guys do have intercourse or stuff like that, it's always important that both of you go to the hospital. In a way, you make sure that everybody's good before you guys start to have sex. That's just my point of view. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all adults. We have made some bad decisions just going out with a person, not knowing their health issues or whatever, whoever they've been with in the past that has spread something to them, that we just have sex with them without using protection or whatever the heck it is. But I think now, during these days, a lot of people have a lot of stuff going on health wise. So it's very important that you make sure whoever you're sleeping with is good, because they might just bring something to you that you cannot get rid of. That that's my thoughts. Um, uh, hold on. This writing is very late. Let me see. Let me put mine. Uh, what else? What else can I say? I would say though, one thing I can definitely say will be I would say be learn to be very observant. Welcome guys to the channel. By the way, if you just coming, my name is Catherine. Welcome to the channel. So today's topic is about our previous relationship. I'm sure everything wasn't always bad in your previous relationship. So if you can comment down below what one thing you learned from our relationship, what one thing you took from our relationship that you can use in your next relationship, or that you are using in your next relationship. Comment down below, or one thing that you did appreciate about your past relationship. Comment down below. What were I about to say? Oh, okay. I would say one thing that I can say though um, is very important. No matter how much you are into somebody, it's very important that you be very observant um who you are with. Yeah, for now everything gonna be all cool and stuff like that. And sometimes we might just be blocking some red lights, right? Or red flag, whatever you call it. Because you are so much into this person. So sometimes you just dismiss some red flag that you are seeing, and you just keep going on with it until it become a bigger problem. That's the time you like, hold up. Before you even say that, it already gone on for too long. So sometimes I say this: when you get into a relationship, no matter how much you are into somebody, how much you love this person, how much you want to spend the rest of your life with this person, learn to be very observant, because um the sooner you notice some of the red flag, the better it is for you. So you don't waste your time on the wrong person. That's what I can honestly say. Or if that's something that you need to protect yourself from, that somebody is doing or your partner is doing, you just getting to know this person, that you are able to make a decision as fast as possible. Because I think sometimes we are so much in love with this person. Um, they are showing us all these red flags, but we just ignore it or we dismiss it. Sometimes too, we can be in denial. We see it, but I mean, like, oh, it's not nothing. It's not a big of a deal. But the sooner you try to, yeah, sometimes you got to take your emotion out of the way, period, and see what's the best thing for you. Yeah, you might not want to leave that person. At the end of the day, you might want to spend the rest of your life with this person. You might just feel like you have found the right person that you've been looking for, but if you are very observant of things that you are looking for in a long-term relationship, and this person is showing you opposite of it, just because you're into that person, you dismiss it, it's going to become a bigger problem. Or you don't put that under control, it's going to become a bigger problem in the future. uh, so I would say, let me think. Comment down below if you have other, um, what are some good things that you have learned from your past, um, that you have taken to your next relationship, or that you will be taking to your next relationship, or something that you learn. And one thing too, I would say, one thing that I learned, I already said it, be, treat people the way in which you want to be, uh, you want to be treated. Be a nice person. Hi, welcome. Be a nice person as well, right? Go a good person. Don't let anybody to change you for who you are. But also, don't make somebody to make fool of you just because you are into them. Always know that you deserve better. I'm not saying be a bad person. Be yourself. Be your true self. But don't make somebody to um, make fool out of you, or to take advantage of you just because you like the person or you want this relationship to work. Um, let me think about some, but I love to hear your input, what you guys think. I love to hear what are some good things that you have learned in the past. Um, and also, one thing I would say though, uh, one thing I would say, whoever you with at a moment, pay attention to how they treat people around them. Yeah, everything gonna be cool. Everything gonna be perfect between you and them. But pay very close attention to how they treat ladies, how they treat people around them, period, how they talk to people around them, how they talk about people around them, how they just like they are. Pay attention to stuff like that. Um, because everything might be good right now, but people change. Yeah, they might seem that are good around you when you guys are together, but pay attention. It's very important that you pay attention when you are not around how they are, when you are around how they behave towards other people. Because yeah, everything might be good, but what they do to other people when that relationship start to go to through a testing time, you guys they're gonna do the same thing to you. So just pay attention to that. Also pay attention when you try to express your feelings, uh, your dislike or your feelings, period. How do they deal with it? Do they dismiss your feelings? Pay attention to that. Or do they, even though they might not agree with you, do they listen to you? Um, yeah, pay attention to stuff like that. So I would say those are stuff that actually I learned. That can save you a lot of headache, a lot of your precious time. So that's what I would say. Um, Sometimes too, though, I'm not saying always listen to everybody, but if somebody truly care about you, if they are telling you something about this person, yeah, you are into that person. For the moment, you're so much into that person, but it's somebody who know this person are telling you, and you feel like this person is coming from a good place, a good heart. They are telling you something about this person. Pay attention to stuff like that because sometimes I feel like when we are so much into this person, we tend to dismiss everything. Even if people are telling us something that may help us, we just ignore it and just dismiss it. Then until it become a bigger issue, that's the time we start to um, think about what to do next, and it's already late. Hi guys, welcome. So I love to hear your input. What you guys think, anything I discussed today. I love to hear your input about it, what you guys think. If you have anything to add, I would appreciate it if you add anything to this topic. I'm going to be here for at least another 5 minutes, then we'll be ending the live. So I'm going to give you guys this time to share. I love to hear, what are some things that you have learned in your past relationship, or what one good thing can you say about your past partner that you can actually say, yeah, this person actually was a this person did this, it was very nice, or this person was da da da, whatever it is, I don't know, but yeah, I love to hear you sharing. Yeah, I love to hear what you guys have learned that you will be taking to your next relationship, or you has taken to your next relationship, or something, a mistake that you are not going to continue to make as well. Yeah, I would say sometimes we learn. People come to into our life for different reasons. So sometimes people come into our life to teach us a lesson, but for some people, they just continue to make the same they continue to make the same mistake over and over. They haven't learned a lesson. They just continue to do the same thing, which ain't gonna better you if you continue to not learn from that mistake and continue to make the same bad decision or keep to pick continue to pick the same partner that have treated you wrong, or they have the same characteristic, and you continue to pick the same people, you're gonna continue to learn that lesson until you like enough is enough, you know. I'm gonna pick this type of person. The I would say let me think about something. Let me learn to word it out better. Sometimes too, you will come into people's life to, uh, I would say, to help them through whatever they're going through, right? God sent you into somebody's life, I guess. Maybe He's the Savior. So sometimes He's sending you into somebody's life. Somebody world might be going down. So sometimes He's sending you as a, should I say, an angel into that person's life to make sure that they are good until it's time for you to move to your next destination. So sometimes we tend to overstay when it's time for us to leave. Sometimes we tend to overstay, right? Yeah, it goes send you into somebody's life because somebody's life is going downhill. They just everything wrong about that person is going on, and God send you as an angel into that person's life to make sure they're good until they straighten themselves up. And when they do, you still want to stay longer. Sometimes it become a bigger problem. So, knowing when to walk away helps a whole lot. I know it's hard to say or to do it, but that's a fact. Just be true to yourself and know when it's time to walk away. So, yeah. And sometimes too, God might send you to somebody's life to make sure they're good, to be a guardian angel, whatever the heck it is that God want you to do. But sometimes knowing when to walk away matters a whole lot. Meaning, sometimes, yeah, God might send you as an angel into that person's life, and to make sure they're good, to make sure they are straightened up until it's time for you to move to your next assignment, right? But some people don't realize that you are there as the guardian angel, right? So sometimes they do misuse that until you have walked away, until guys like that's enough. It's time for you to move to your next assignment. And it's too late for them. So just be careful how you treat people, y'all. Be careful. I always say, even if you guys are in a relationship, and yeah, maybe first you might think that that person was your person, but if you realize that that person is not your person, it's better to walk away than you being there to torment the person's life, or to make their life miserable, or just to make their life a living hell. So um, because whatever you pour out, you're gonna get one way or the other. It might not be at a moment, but whatever you pour out, you're gonna get a pay for it one way or the other. So many ways. So I think that's what all I have to share today. So we have 2 more minutes on here. If you want to add, um, do so. If you want to make a comment, do so. I will appreciate it. Before we close up, tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow I'm gonna also go live tomorrow. So if you guys want to come and hang out, for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. And if you are returning as well, welcome. And also feel free to always leave a message as to your favorite topic, whatever you want to discuss. You can always leave me a message on either the community page or my last video. If you have suggestion as well for the channel, you can do that as well. So, hi, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Welcome. So, I would say that's what I learned, at least I learned in my past relationship. And I always say, don't compare yourself with other people's relationship. I always say that because, yeah, people might look perfect from outside, but behind closed door, they are a whole different person. So, if you are not currently in a relationship, don't feel discouraged because your friends are in a relationship, or it might not, maybe it might not just be your time. Maybe God is preparing the right person for you. You never know. So don't feel discouraged. But I always say though, if you continue to pick the same people and you continue to get a heartbreak, maybe it's time to change up a little bit, because you cannot plant an apple and expect to get a mango, if that makes sense. So sometimes it's hard because it's something that is part of us, or maybe something we desire. It might not be the right thing for us, but that's what we desire, right? So sometimes it's good to change up a little bit. Maybe that might work. Who knows? So you might be picking the same guy or you might be picking the same ladies, but it's not just working out. So maybe it's time to change up a little bit. Or maybe sit down and think about it. What are you doing wrong? What are they doing wrong? What can you change a little bit? Um, then based on that, you pray about it, make sure it's the right person. You know, you don't always have to hop from one person to another. Sometimes it's not always a bad thing to give yourself a break. So, and also, I would say though, the longer you give yourself a break from hopping to one person to another, you learn to appreciate yourself more. You're gonna start to learn more about yourself, more about other stuff out there that you could use in your next relationship. So it's not always a bad thing to be single at times. So you don't always have to be in a relationship. Um, when it's not the right person. So yeah, I think that's it for today's video. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Wishing you all a successful relationship. Pray that you guys find the perfect partner. I know nothing is perfect, but somebody that you can work with, you know, somebody that you guys understand each other, you understand each other. You might not be perfect 100%, but a little that you are not good at, you guys are willing to work on that and better that, you don't want to be with somebody who is always stuck in their own ways, who don't want no change. They just stuck in their own way, no matter if it's something that they should change. Is just stuck in a way they feel like, I'm not going to change. You don't want that. So yeah, anyway, if you have question, you have comment, anything, also feel free. If you have advice for the audience, you can always leave in the comment as well. And yeah, I know, wishing you all the best. No matter if you choose to stay single or you want to be in a relationship, wishing you all the best. Okay. You all stay blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.